Merry Christmas!
And happy holidays to all of you.
And you cannot have Christmas without eggnog.
For the season to be jolly, you definitely need some booze.
And we're going to show you the original eggnog recipe. Cheers! And we have done some research to try to get as close to the original eggnog recipes from the 18th century, actually.
That George Washington himself was following.
Very true, and he was actually distilling his own rye whiskey, just for you to know. But those recipes back then, they didn't involve any cooking. On the other hand, they were significantly more boozy. So basically what we are doing then is that we are chemically cooking our raw materials by ethanol.
Like lime does, for instance.
Yeah, exactly, like lime does to fish when you make ceviche. So before we get into it, let's do a little experiment so you can actually see what happens. I have preserved a little bit of egg white here, and then I have some clear alcohol. It doesn't matter what it is, it's just to show you what ethanol does to the protein. So we pour that in here, like this, and now you see how the egg whites, they start to coagulate and denature. What happens here, and you see,
it's like cooking.
Exactly. What happens here is the ethanol breaks down the walls of the cells, and they will do exactly the same to any bad bacteria, that they simply die.
May rest in peace.
Let's talk about booze.
Let's talk about booze, baby.
Yeah, let's do that. We are going to go in with some bourbon, traditional. We are going to go in with some dark rum, ron zacapa in this case, also traditional. And then we were supposed to go in with rye whiskey, but we don't have our own rye whiskey, so...
Well, not yet, at least. We haven't distilled it.
Well, keep subscribing. Let's get us up to some numbers in subscribers, and then we will show you how to distill your own rye whiskey.
That's a promise.
But instead, we have a single malt whiskey from Belgium, of all places, which is cask strength, which means it's not diluted from the barrel. And it's running at 62% alcohol by volume. It's completely undrinkable, but it's good for mixing, so that's what we're going to use. The original recipe calls for mixing the alcohols before you start making the eggnog. I don't know why, but I don't dare to
Deviate.
Deviate, exactly, that's the word I was looking for. 100 milliliter of bourbon, 100 milliliter of dark rum, and 100 milliliter of our rubbing alcohol whiskey. There we go. And that's about it. And then we're ready to move on. We have here 6 whole eggs, because many of the original recipes, they don't call for separating the whites from the yolks. They simply go in whole. So now we take our mixer and we start mixing. And when you get to this point where you have the eggs nicely mixed, then you start streaming in your alcohol slowly. This will still denature the proteins, but by mixing, then you actually make sure that they don't precipitate, and that means you get a homogeneous mixture out of this. So slowly in with your alcohol while mixing. It smells good over here. It's going to be festive. And as you see, no globby shit here. It's all in one. And we continue with our sugar. Crank up the speed a little bit, and we go in with our sugar, and we mix till it gets thicker. And the next thing we do, that is to take 600 milliliter of heavy cream into a bowl, and we are going to whip this into whipped cream. So instead of making the egg whites into meringue, we are making some whipped cream. But you want to whip this, I'll start it in a bit because it makes a noise. So you want to whip this until it's thick, but not like a ricotta or a cottage cheese. It has to be, a little bit runny still. So let's get this mixed. And this is a nice consistency, not too stiff, so that's ready. Now we want to put in a little bit of the spices so that we are ready to mix and make the final product. Nutmeg, traditional. So we go in with, I don't know, half a nut maybe. You don't want it either to be too overpowering here, but you want some nutmeg. It's nice tasting.
Plus, we will put also on the surface on
Yeah,
top.
of course, for presentation we'll do
extra-
that. So
Yeah.
half a nut in. Now I'm going in with a teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is not traditional, but I like it in nutmeg to have a little bit of vanilla in the background. So a teaspoon of vanilla extract. In that goes. And now we are ready to mix in our cream, or whipped cream, to be honest. It's good. Perfect consistency. I'm happy with that. In it goes. And then on slow, we are going to mix this in until everything is well combined. Final step is to add some light cream until you have the consistency you want, because it's a little bit too thick now. So we just keep stirring that in. You want a luscious eggnog. You don't want it to be waterish, but I think we're gonna go in with all of it here. Well, actually,
That was half a liter.
that was half a liter,
600,
yeah, and it's perfect. Look, the consistency here. That's what you want from a good eggnog. Now we're gonna put this in the fridge to cool down, but in reality, if you put it in jars like this and close the lid almost, let it be a little bit loose, then it benefits from aging in the fridge 2 to 3 weeks easy, and you get, it mellows out, becomes more, it enhances the flavors, so...
It gets bombastic.
Absolutely. So now we'll put this in the fridge and see you in a while. Cool and ready to taste.
It sure smells nice.
It does.
We'll see.
Cheers.
Cheers, baby.
We made Baileys.
You did my favorite drink. I love you.
Perfect. This is sure to make your season jolly. Merry Christmas.